Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we have a ridiculous replay sent in by Icy Pursuit 9. And he swears that this is going to be absolutely insane. And he's in the Mino. Now the first thing I'm going to point out is that this is not just a Mino game, it is also a carrier game. Which, if you ask me, kind of makes this a little bit more special. We'll see if the carrier actually plays a role in this or not, but generally speaking, Minos live and die by detectability. If they are detected, they die very quickly. Why? Because pretty much everything overmatches it at legendary tier. All of the supercruisers, battleships, they all overmatch this thing and absolutely run rampant over it. However, a Mino that can be left alone to do what Mino does best is one of the most devastating things you will ever accidentally give the broadside of your ship to. You think I'm joking? If you've never gotten to a point where you've been absolutely death by 1,000 cuts by a Mino, then you don't know what you're missing. Now, one of the things I could like talk about the Mino with, comparing it, is back in my day when I played a World of Tanks console. We used to have this little tiny artillery unit we call Bert. It was the FE-304. If you know, you know. If you don't, Lord, go look it up. I've got some videos on my channel of Bert doing Bert things. It's hilarious, okay? It's one of the most fun artillery units you could play on World of Tanks console back in the day that isn't like super like devastating, okay? Obviously Bert has the ability to rapid fire. It just constantly fires every, I forget what it is. It's like every 10 seconds or something like that. Basically, it fires about quick enough for you to almost get your track repaired after it smacks you and detracts you, right? So what happens is you just take more and more damage over time, and it is literally death by 1,000 cuts. You can't do anything. You cannot repair your track fast enough to get away, and the Bert just keeps going pink, pink. You know, it's not a lot of damage, but it's damage, and it does eventually kill you. It'll kill you a couple of ways. It'll kill your crew. It'll kill your fuel tanks, causing fires. It's just devastating. That's essentially what a Mino does, except Mino fires a little faster. And just is absolutely devastating for anybody unfortunate enough to be over-angled. Or in this case, unfortunate enough to be on the receiving end of plunging fire, because you can't angle your deck. That's why armor-piercing bombs are so dangerous. That's basically what a Mino's doing here. A Mino is shooting rapid-fire, armor-piercing bombs at these ranges, because every shell that's coming in is coming straight down and doing nasty things. Now, one of the first things that got out of this match was the enemy destroyer, which is huge. Burning your smoke to help get rid of that destroyer early, protecting you from being spotted. Fortunately, the destroyer also ended up dropping a smoke screen, trying to panic, and that allowed us to stay hidden even longer while we were focusing the repub long after our smoke dissipated. Now, what we're going to see next is my favorite kind of Mino, and that is a Mino that doesn't just sit back and watch and play behind islands. It's a Mino that knows that there's somebody up here that he could 1v1, potentially. So he's gonna try to protect his teammate and push the angry smokescreen that is ahead of us. Now notice that smokescreen is kind of dissipating from right to left. And there's an enemy Mino in said smokescreen who is now detected. Guess what? One thing that'll kill a Mino faster than anything, other than just being able to outright dev strike a Mino, is another Mino. Minos versus Mino is just devastating. If you get caught broadside or over-angled, a Mino will ruin your day in anything. But especially another Mino. Like, if you get caught, it's kind of like one of the most funny matches you will ever see is a Mino versus a Worcester. Okay? The Mino has the advantage in armor-piercing capabilities, but the Worcester has the advantage in being able to utilize HE. Now, either of them over angle, they can both dev strike the other with AP. But Mino has the advantage of not having to worry about ammo types and can be super aggressive because it has torpedoes, which allows it to really push a Worcester and force the Worcester into making a mistake. So it is a funny engagement, and I've been on the receiving end of both sides of it. I've been a Worcester against a Mino, I've been a Mino against a Worcester, and both sides of it are fully winnable. It is a very, coin flippy kind of an engagement. Generally speaking, if it's at any sort of range, the Worcester has the advantage because of the HE, because obviously, if you angle, the armor piercing can't really do anything. But as we've already shown, we're at 106,000 damage. We've only got one kill, and it was a dev strike against the Mino. But we have helped get rid of the destroyer. Now we are doing what can only be described as what Mino does best, which is utilize cover and DPM the snot out of anything dumb enough to be broadside to you. And don't blame the Alaska down here. This Alaska had no idea this was coming. But that's the thing about the Mino. And the worst part is, once it starts, by the time you react, there are already so many rounds in the air that you're going to lose a significant amount of your health before you can get your ship turned away. And that is the danger of the Mino. It isn't that it's a super scary ship, because it is, but it isn't. If you see a Mino, generally you can kill a Mino. That's how that works. But in an instance like this, now you can see the Alaska had no choice. He lost half his hit points just like that. Like, the Alaska lost so many hit points, he's like, I gotta turn bow into this side. Like, there's clearly a Mino over here ruining my day. So he goes bow in. He is now chasing a destroyer. Our destroyer's in a very bad position here. He's most likely going to go down. He doesn't have the hit points. Alaska should be able to kill him. You can see Alaska is clearly also radaring, which is good news for us because we do have a smoke screen and he's already burned his radar. So if we end up using our smoke screen, then we know that we will be safe from the Alaska. The planes are overhead, and the Mino also has insane capability for shooting down planes. Like, ridiculous. Like, this thing has really good AA, and it's that extended range type of AA that you really, really enjoy to shoot down planes. It's the kind of AA that's willing to shoot down planes before the planes drop their bomb. I know it's a crazy concept, and oh my god. He's going for the home run here, and I don't agree with this. There is no reason to drop single file torps there on the Alaska. You are setting yourself up for failure. Fortunately for him, it doesn't actually matter. This Alaska's dead anyway. But in that situation, there is no reason to go for the home run. The guy was very low health. You only need to land one torpedo. You kill the guy. And so launching a normal spread torpedo salvo is probably your best bet. Because the problem with single file torps is if you're not perfect, you look like an idiot. And you don't even have to be an idiot. It's just, oh god. Okay, we're good. We're good. Moving just in time. That was almost certain death, and that's the fun part about Mino. If you've ever played Mino, it's the thrill of just knowing that at any moment you could be sent back to port. So you got to keep your head on a swivel and make sure that you're in a good position to protect yourself at all times. At 146,000 damage, the team is starting to fall back, but we do have the points lead here. And you can see, once again, it takes a little bit to get the target or shots on target, but as soon as you do, all those shells start pinning from everywhere. And you can see just constant. Just pins for days. And you get 30, 40, 50 rounds in the air before anybody realizes that they're being targeted. And so by the time that they get hit with the first salvo, they're already about to take, 20 or 30 rounds. And there's nothing that they can do about it. Now here, the Yama comes around the corner. He's over-angled. He initially gets hit, but he's already started turning in. He's triggered a heal as well, but he's still over-angled. We can easily pin this Yama at this range. Upper side plating all day long. Superstructure if you can. all of these things are good. Now here we do burn we burn our smoke here, which is our last smoke, which again, I don't think was necessarily. That was an awkward sentence to say, but you know, who am I to disagree with this? Getting dark, or going dark here, you were already protected by the island from the other people on the enemy team. Saving this smoke for a better opportunity where you didn't have hard cover probably would have been a better bet here. And again, I'm just picking to be, you know, a little bit picky. That's what we do, right? We break down little things that, you know, despite this being an incredible game, which we already know it is, it's 176,000 damage, and this game ain't even close to being over yet. There's 5 minutes left, and you've got a lot of enemy ships out here. And every one of them appears to be ready to go full broadside for reasons. Now, Kronstadt, he's got to be paying attention here. He's not. He gets caught. And luckily, these shots are all high on the Kronstadt, so they're not doing a lot of damage, just kind of overpin damage, or pin damage into the superstructure a little bit. You don't really overpin with the Mino a whole lot, but there we pick up our Confederate. We've already got a high cow, we've got a Dev Strike, we've got a Confederate. The Conqueror, we've discussed this in the past. The Conqueror absolutely melts. It doesn't matter how you try to angle the Conqueror against a Mino, it is literal cannon fodder for a Mino. If you get caught, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the clip. Me and Aaron in Minos targeting a Conqueror, just melted him. He had no chance. There ain't no heal on this planet that's going to save you in a Conqueror versus a Mino, let alone 2 Minos. Now here, you can see these shells just pinning everywhere. All the shells going into the superstructure are pinning. He's on fire, most likely, from the carrier. We're defending the cap, though. That is the important thing. We're down to a 2 versus 4. This game could go either way. Now, that smoke screen did come in real handy for helping against the Conqueror and the Kronstadt there. So, you can't really fault him there. But, again, this is one of those situations, had he saved the smoke a little bit longer, he'd still be able to shoot that guy. As it sits, he's now spotted by the carrier. There's an unknown cruiser off to our left side, which I believe is an Alaska. And there we take a pretty nasty hit, and sure enough, it is an Alaska. This is terrifying, okay? First of all, you've got a battleship alive. Battleships versus Mino, it's not a contest. If the battleship hits you with AP, you generally go kablooey, okay? But worse than that, both of the enemy cruisers that are left overmatch you. The Kronstadt has 305mm guns, I believe, and so does the Alaska. This means that they overmatch the 16mm bow of the Mino, meaning that you can't angle against these guys because the Mino doesn't really have a whole lot in terms of belt armor either. So you could potentially angle, but more often than not, you're just going to get absolutely obliterated in a fight versus anything that overmatches you in a Mino. So here you can see disengaging from the Alaska initially, utilizing the island cover to start to approach and think about going, oh my god, the enemy carrier's here. What are you doing? Like, I applaud the thought process of going in and trying to help capture a base, but when you see a fucking Mino coming from distance, like, this Mino has not made it a secret that he's heading this direction for a while now, you got to get yourself away from it. And unfortunately for him, this is the appropriate time to go for the home run. When you're very, very close, and you can pretty much guarantee every single one of those torpedoes is going to find a home. However, that's going to hurt, and he's very fortunate to not be just outright dev struck right there. Maybe Alaska overpinned him. I don't think he got a Citadel, because Alaska's Citadels are pretty nasty as well. But here you can see Alaska goes bow in, and this fight actually could have gone a lot worse. We get very lucky to survive, but we're up to 303,000 damage. There's less than a minute left. We have a 300-point advantage. As long as the team doesn't throw, we win this fight. And you can see the Alaska overmatching and doing what it does best. But fortunately, right at the very last salvo, we managed to take down the Alaska and get the flesh wound as well. Just stacking up all of the medals. But 307,000 damage, killing a carrier, shooting down 31 planes, because you got to have the clear skies to go in there too. So shooting down 31 planes, killing the carrier, doing a significant amount of damage to the destroyer. The amount of XP that's going to be... Oh, and don't forget, we have an assisted cap in there as well. The amount of XP earned in this match is going to be astonishing. So thank you to Icy Pursuit for sending this one in. This was an absolute treat. I know I kind of got off topic at the beginning, but this was a fantastic replay to watch. And I promise I'm just nitpicking when I point out little things that we can all learn from during the match. But you played a ridiculously good game, and you weren't too passive about it. You were up in there doing what you had to do. 307,000 flesh wound Confederate clear sky high cal, 2 dev strikes. Let's see what the 4,913. That's officially the most XP I've ever seen in a replay, I believe. I don't think I've ever seen anybody have more than that. I know that there are games that have more than that, but 4,900 base XP is insane. So again, thank you, Icy Pursuit, for sending this one in. Don't forget, everybody, if you guys got your own community replays you would like to send me to check out and potentially feature on the channel, just upload it to either YouTube or a file share. Send me the link to my email at spartanelite43@gmail.com. It's that simple. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.